Hello, this is a video to show how I use this particular template to do very quick musical examples while teaching online. This is a Finale template, but I believe similar things could be constructed in other notation programs like Sibelius and Notion and so on. I just haven't done those, but I'll just talk about Finale today. I'm not going to really be dealing with note entry or things like that. I'm assuming anyone who'd be interested in using this template in Finale would know how to enter notes and enter chord symbols and things like that. I'm more talking about some shortcuts that allow you to quickly create a musical example, quickly analyze it, and do it sort of while you're talking and right in class with a few shortcuts. That's what I'm zeroing in on. So first of all, this template has some shortcuts written out there. Showing you how we're using the expression tool to do analysis. So let me deal with that first. I'm going to erase all of these and redo them for you. So the way it's set up is that I have a little diagram here. You can program shortcuts in the expression tool, and I've done that to try to do some intuitive shortcuts. So diatonic major key harmony, the chord symbols are assigned to the number keys as you would, in an intuitive way. 1 is 1 major 7, 2 is 2 minor 7, etc. And then right below that are the secondary dominants. Right below 2 is 5 7 of 2, 5 7 of 3, etc. Then I haven't assigned anything here, but I could, but I haven't yet. And then down on the lowest level, I have some common modal interchange chords, again, in line with the numbers. That's 1 minor 7, that's flat 2 major 7, flat 3 major 7. Again, these are common modal interchange chords in a major key. If you don't know how to make your own shortcuts, I'll quickly show you, but that's another thing, just a Finale skill that I think most people know. You go to this expression tool, double click, and if you want to set up a shortcut, like, I don't know, say you wanted to make this one be something, or this one, you just select it, and then you just do shift, and then the shortcut that you want. And then the little shortcut appears there. Okay. Now, how do we apply it? Well, you just simply hold down the shortcut that you want while you're in this tool and click, and it will appear. So I hold down 2, there we go. I hold down 5, click, hold down 1, click, hold down 5 7 of 4, which is below 4, hold down 4, and then a related 2 chord doesn't get a Roman numeral, but it does get a bracket. The bracket is currently assigned to 9, and the arrow, the dominant arrow, is currently assigned to 8. So that's the way I quickly can do analysis. Here's number 3. That would be 5 7 of 2, etc., etc. These would be Roman flat 3 major 7, flat 2 major 7, and 1 major 7. Okay, so you can see how quickly we can do analysis. Another thing that we would often be teaching is, things to do with melody, so motivic development and so on. So you can just grab, let's just sort of erase this one for a minute, pretend there's nothing here. Get rid of that for a second. So I'm getting rid of the notes here. And so you're making an example. Well, you maybe just want to copy only the notes. You don't want to copy the chords because you've already got your different chords in there. You just go to the filter. The filter is under the edit menu, edit filter. And in this case, you would choose just notes. So that's all you're going to copy. So if you want to, say, copy your motive and say, hey, I'm going to take the same melodic motive, but I'm going to manipulate it. Maybe I'm going to go sequence it down, which you can do by being in the selection tool and hitting the number 6. It'll go down diatonically, or the number 7, and it will go up diatonically. So that's a very quick way to do sequencing. Of course, if you want to do something else like inversion or retrograde or whatever, then you would have to do a little bit more note manipulation. But it is a quick way to sort of get some melodic shapes going, reusing melodic ideas and then very quickly manipulating them as appropriate. And then, of course, manipulating it to fit the chord of the moment. And then the next thing is playback. So while you're doing, the whole point of this is that they can be seeing notation and then hearing the result. So often what I'll do is talk about some example, and then we'll sort of compose it together on the spot, and then they'll be hearing what's happening and what are the implications of what's being constructed. And so for that, you need some fluent playback shortcuts. So the first one is just is to actually avoid the use of the playback control window. Just don't use that. Instead, be in the selection tool. And the first one is just you can click on a measure and then hold down the space bar and click, and it will play back from there. Whatever measure that is, and then when you want to stop it, you just click again. But the second one is even more useful, which is it's called a scrub function, where you can hold down Option plus spacebar and then move along the music at the rate of your cursor, and this way you can stop and isolate things. So you can point things out and say, like, look at how we're using tension 11 right here in the melody. Or, you know, things like that. You can say, look, here's another tension 11 right there, and so on. So that scrubbing shortcut, again, Option plus spacebar, is a great tool. Now, one other thing I'll say about the template, and then I'm almost done, is that this particular template is set up to show 3 staves. But if you do Command E, you can see there's other staves available, and you could even add more. Like I have a pad sound playing back here on this hidden stave. I also have drums, you know, bass. So if you're mainly focusing on the content without not so much talking about the arranging, but more about the, you know, harmonic content, melodic content, you can make it easier for the student to follow along by just showing a few staves. But if you want to drill down and talk about some arranging thing, you can hit Command E and show all the staves and you know, get into those details, you know, drum groove or whatever. So that's another feature of it. And then the final feature of it is that later in the third page of the template is some different staves that allow for the construction of chord scales. And these are set up to be different. So if you want to add normal notation, you want to make sure you do that over on these pages or add some measures on these pages. But on these are set up to be able to show whole notes. And the way you do a chord scale, of course, is you can just copy, with the filter on, you can just copy the notes of another one, paste them in, and then move them with the numbers up or down. Say I was going to do, let's say I was going to do, I don't know, E Phrygian. I get all the notes there, and then I simply use the lyric tool to label them. So this would be 1, oops, this would be 1, this would be S flat 2, this would be flat 3, this would be T11, this would be 5. You can see it's pretty fast to get all the information in there. And then if you do have harmonic avoid notes, if you hit the staff tool, click and drag over the note, you can hit the letter S and it turns it into a solid note head. And you have the chord scales represented as Berklee teaches them pretty quickly. So that's it. Those are the main features of the template. And the only thing I would add is that if you're not used to this in Finale, I always use, if you go to the score manager under the window menu, I always use the Garriton sounds because they're actual sampled sounds. They sound a lot better instead of using the MIDI sounds, which sound very cheesy and thin. And so this template is custom loaded with those sounds, but of course you can change them. You know, if you wanted to change your pad to, say, string section, you could just choose it here, and anything can be changed there. And there's even a mixer, which you can, you know, adjust the sound levels and the panning there. And the mixer is accessible through the window menu. It's right there. Okay, that's it. I hope this is useful to some people.